afternoon, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz. What is Indy's Trusted Servant? Well, that's me, Danny O'Malia. I do customer service training and keynote speaking about customer service. It's all about the culture of the organization. I learned all of that from the hand of the master, my late father, Joe O'Malia, back in the O'Malia Food Market days. But even before that, in the mid to late 50s, when my dad owned a little grocery store in Broad Ripple, where the Vanguard Bar is now, it had one cash register, about 8 employees, one of which was an 8, 9, 10-year-old kid. My dad lost that store, and he came back 10 years later and successfully opened O'Malia Food Markets with 9 stores and 950 employees. One of my lessons from my dad was never, ever, ever give up. If you're interested in my customer service trainings or keynotings, give me a call at 317-413-9062. What's the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz? I like to describe it as lively local small biz and community talk where you can feel the pulse of Indy. And today my guest is my good friend, the toast of Westfield, Indiana, Mr. Tim Gerrity. And Tim is a financial advisor and specializes a lot in Social Security and helping people prepare for Social Security. So Tim, welcome back to the show. I don't know how long ago it was that you were on, but it was a while.
It was probably a year.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to the show. So let's get started. You start with maybe people need a basic understanding of what Social Security is. So
Yeah.
his company is Gerrity Consulting, and you said you only want to give out your cell phone number. So let's do that, and we'll do it later too.
Tim Gerrity, 317-379-2224.
Okay. So start with the basic understanding of what Social Security is.
It's the government program that allows family to stay financially viable through disability, through death, through retirement. And we were talking before we really started, Social Security is with us our entire life. When I was a little kid, if my dad would have passed away, I would have received a survivor benefit. My mother would have too, my sister. If my dad would have been disabled and not able to work, benefits would have been to the family. My dad is retired and receiving Social Security. He has his. I'm now a dad. My kids have that safety net. Never meant to be your full retirement plan.
That's something that people don't quite grasp, I think.
But Social Security is something we pay for.
We sure do.
And it's through taxes. FICA, when you see FICA on your check stub, you are paying about 6.2%. Your employer is paying 6.2%.
That's right, and people tend to forget about that. So add that 6.2% to your pay.
Yeah, and if you are self-employed, you are paying 12.4.
Yes,
you're
sirree.
paying all of it.
Yes, sirree.
So that's really what Social Security is.
So to be eligible for Social Security, talk about when you can sign up, what's the best time to sign up, and so forth. And also, since you mentioned it off the air, that even though you're Ryan Henry and you're only 30 or 40 or whatever Ryan Henry is, he should be looking into this stuff, right? So talk about that.
Let me start there. ssa.gov/account. Everybody should go online and set up their account. There, you'll be able to pull all of your earnings from all your years. That goes right from the IRS to Social Security. You can see a lot of things then on ssa.gov. You can see what your projected Social Security amount will be when you're 62. Earliest you can take Social Security retirement. You'll see what it is at 70, the latest you can take it. But what I help people do is look over those 8 years and really
Figure
optimize.
Out, yeah.
Where is it best to take it? according to statistics, and whoever gives these, apparently 90% of people take Social Security at the wrong time.
Is that right?
And how that happens is a lot of people think, let's say I'm done working, I'm 62, I'm going to take it. Well, if you take it at 62, you are giving yourself a 30%
Cut.
haircut
Yep.
from your full retirement age. And for our talk, I'm going to use 67. Age 67 is full retirement. So 62 is the earliest you can take it. 67 people born 1960 or later, that's their 100%. And if you wait to age 70, you get 124%.
Get a bit of a bonus,
Right.
right?
If you're going to get a haircut on the front end,
Yeah.
you get an 8% per year.
That really sometimes comes down to how long am I going to live? And it's hard to tell when you're 62 years old. So there's a gamble no matter what you do. Right?
Exactly. And that's what people think, well, I'm 62, I'm going to take it now. However, the Social Security Administration has lots and lots of data of how people have lived, how they've died. If somebody is healthy, and I think I know I'm pretty healthy.
You look okay to me.
Yeah. I will probably wait till age 70. And I say probably. Don't have to decide. I'm 63, so I've already gone one more year. I could go at 67 and get my full. My story is a little bit unique, and I'm sure a lot of people out there as well. My wife is 9 years younger than me. And one thing that a lot of people don't think about with Social Security, I can't leave it to anybody. It's mine. You can leave it to somebody.
Talk about that.
I'm 9 years older than my wife, Kim.
Yeah.
More than likely, I will predecease her.
More than likely.
If I would take Social Security now, I'd get a reduced benefit. When I pass, Kim gets my reduced benefit. So part of our plan is I'm going to delay it at least to age 67, maybe longer, so I can leave Kim the highest Social Security amount that I can. And that is optimizing your Social Security. There's one way.
Okay. So what about disability benefit? Now you mentioned somebody getting hit by a car or whatever, right? Or a heart attack or whatever.
Disability is there for people. However, you don't have to be 62 to claim disability. If you have been working and you have a disability that stops you from working or would end in your death, you can apply for Social Security disability. And all of this can be done on ssa.gov/my account. A lot of things that you can do there.
Let's say you got a husband and a wife, and the husband dies suddenly, heart attack. Can the wife go on ssa.gov and get his Social Security and vice versa?
Sure can.
Okay.
However, if the wife is still working, she wouldn't want to take his Social Security
Unless she
survivor
had to.
benefit. Right. If she has to, she can. Here's a neat one. This is optimizing, Danny. Let's say she's retired, husband passes away, and maybe she just quit working. She could take his survivor benefit and let hers keep growing.
Okay.
When she wants to, she can jump over to her benefit if it has grown more. You're allowed to do that as long as you don't remarry.
Oh, if you remarry, all bets are off.
Basically, yes.
Okay. Well, see, that's an important point.
Yeah.
Because that's a fairly common thing, right?
Yep.
So that needs to be taken into consideration when the time comes and if the time comes.
Yeah.
So there's so much stuff people don't know.
Correct.
That's a good example, right?
And that's why, as an advisor, people should reach out to somebody that knows the intricacies. And a lot of people go, I'm going to call the Social Security Administration office.
I was going to ask you
locally."
about that.
They will not, they cannot give you any advice. If you ask them a direct question, can I get survivor benefits on my spouse. They'll look it up and they'll say yes. Should I take these now? They can't answer
They can't.
that.
They don't. They can't have an opinion.
They can't.
That reminded me of a thought that I just lost. It's something we talked about before. So this SSA.gov, you should be getting on that every month and checking things out from the time you're 40 or so, right?
Yeah, certainly probably a couple times a year. Number one, check your earnings record. Sometimes the IRS gets it wrong. And if years and years go by, you made more than what is reported, you will get less in Social Security. So you do want to check every year, yep, that's what I made, that's what I reported, it's right.
So back to the question of one spouse dying and then the other one remarrying. Just to be clear, if the surviving spouse remarries, then the deceased spouse, he or she loses those benefits.
In some instances about deceased, they still allow you to take it. Let's talk about divorce and the Johnny Carson rule.
Oh, ooh.
We know who Johnny Carson is.
Well, we sure do.
If somebody is married, for you to get spousal benefits, you have to be married at least 10 years.
Okay.
So if somebody is married and they're married 10 years or more, when you want to retire, you can claim on your ex-spouse as long as you haven't remarried. And if you have 4 ex-spouses, as Johnny Carson did, all 4 of them could have claimed off of his Social Security. It would not have affected Johnny Carson's. It wouldn't affect each other's.
That seems a little weird.
And that's maybe a little bit why Social Security can be in the position that it's in. That a little bit of money has been paid into the trust fund, but potentially a lot could be pulled out.
Yeah.
So that's why people need to talk to somebody that really understands Social Security. A lot of financial advisors aren't kind of trained in that.
And not specifically, for
Right.
sure. Right. Okay, so let's see. We've already covered this. Let's talk about future sustainability.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people worry, I don't think it'll be there when I get there.
People Ryan's age that I try to talk to about,
Yes.
you should know what your Social Security will be, because this is an income stream you and your spouse cannot outlive. You get this income stream forever. And then people 30, 40, 50, sometimes 60 say, I hear it's going to be wiped out in 2033, 2034.
How legit is that?
It's legitimate that the excess, because we had more people putting in that were taking out. So we built up that trust fund. Now, as
Now it's
boomers,
the opposite, right?
It's going to be the opposite. Not the first time that has happened. So if nothing is done and that trust fund excess goes to zero, people are still going to have Social Security, because you and I and Ryan pay FICA every day, every week.
Yes, we do.
Millions of other people. So if nothing is done, Social Security benefits will have to be reduced. Different numbers, experts say, but it might be 25%.
You think so? Is that in your opinion, is that the worst case scenario?
Yes, that's
Okay.
a pretty bad scenario.
It is, yeah.
Given how many people only have Social Security as a means of income.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
to get 25% taken off. So,
And with inflation,
exactly,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
inflation, let's talk about cost of living adjustments.
let's do.
This
Yeah.
is a benefit that you cannot outlive, that you get a cost of living adjustment every year generally.
Didn't they just announce a fairly small, what was it, 3.2?
3.2.
Boy, I'm
Yeah, very good. 3.2 for 24, 8.7 for 23, 5.9 for 22. And it's always announced October of the preceding year.
Okay, so the last couple of years have been higher.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? It goes from 8% to 3%.
Well, it went 5.9, 8.7, largely because of where we were in the economy with inflation. So it tried to make up for that. Inflation has come down. They use the consumer price index, the CPIW.
Oh, I see. Okay. So it's a
So-
kind of a formulaic
Yes.
thing. They don't just make a decision every year.
Right. They wait till
Okay.
October. They use through September, the CPIW, and then they make a determination. It could be zero.
Has it
Some
ever been
years-
zero?
absolutely.
It has. What would be the most recent zero that you know of, or is that a really tough question?
That is an in-the-weeds question. I wouldn't even want to try to answer
Okay.
because somebody out there might know the answer.
But you don't remember it.
No.
So okay.
No.
I don't remember it either.
Right.
So
So, sustainability was the question you asked. If nothing is done, and no politician wants to today make decisions for 2032, 2033, nobody's touching it.
no, they're not going to touch it.
But when we get closer and closer, a couple things have to happen. Nothing, everybody gets a haircut on their Social Security.
This is where that max 25%
Right.
would come in.
What was your full retirement age? Do you remember?
Well,
66?
I started taking Social Security when I was 62.
Right.
Okay.
But your full retirement age was probably 66.
Probably.
I was born in 1960. In 1983, they raised the full retirement age to 67. So
Oh,
I had-
okay.
I have to work one more year to get my
That's right.
100%.
I think I remember that.
For our children and grandchildren, they may raise full retirement age to 68,
They
69,
probably will.
maybe 70. If they raise it to that age, that is going to sustain Social Security maybe on its own for another 50, 80 years.
Well, that's interesting, and with science and with medicine, they are very
Living
likely to
longer.
live that long.
Yeah.
Right.
But my children, your grandchildren, will have to pay longer into something. So anytime you delay the retirement age, it's going to affect. Another thing, remember I talked about that 6.2%
Yeah.
that we pay for FICA?
Right.
If they raise it to 7%,
They could do that.
they could do that. That funds it.
Yeah.
So there are things that they could do. The last one, we don't pay Social Security on every penny we make. That's 6.2. In 2023, the cap income is about $160,000. You make $1 million.
You don't pay above 160,
You don't pay above 160. So
Okay.
if they raised that,
which would be very popular with a lot of people.
somebody is going to fix it. It's not going away. It will be there for retirees in 10, 20, 30, 50 years. What it will look like, we don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So share with the audience a couple of the stories you told me, off air, along all this, and what happened with some of your clients, some of your relatives, I think.
Yeah. I had a cousin who passed away suddenly at age 52, died of a heart attack. He had two young children, 13 and 15, I believe. I'm the advisor for his wife, and she, of course, was panicked. Her husband passes away suddenly, and financially, they're really in straits. I let her know that each of the children would get 50% of whatever Kevin's Social Security would be, and they will get it till they're age 18 or 19.
What about her?
She would get a benefit if she weren't working.
If
So
she weren't
she
working.
doesn't
So
get a
if she
benefit.
works, she gets nothing. But if she's not working, she gets a benefit and the kids get the benefit.
Yeah. So that's $3,000, $1,500 for each child. That really is going to help. It wasn't, my husband passed away, and we're now financially ruined. She was heartened to hear that there was something. That's why Social Security
It's
is there.
$1,500 per
Child.
year?
Per child per month.
Per month.
Per month, sorry.
Okay, let's clarify
Yeah,
that.
Per
Yeah.
month. So that was an important benefit. And then maybe my personal favorite that people go, wait, what? I think I mentioned I was 63. I have 2 daughters, age 8 and 5. I'm a little late starter.
He's a tad of a late starter, right?
I will be collecting Social Security and having dependent children. So my dependent children, whenever I collect, they will get half of my Social Security. My spouse gets, even though she's working, she gets some Social Security off of my record. Why? Because I'm a Social Security recipient raising dependent children. Now, most people don't do what
At
Kim
your
and I
age,
did at
at
my
your
age.
age, yeah,
However, there are many grandparents that, for whatever reason, might have to adopt a
Yes.
grandchild. If they're already taking Social Security, the Social Security is not going to go, have you had to adopt anybody? If they're
You
already
gotta tell
taking
'em.
it, you got to go back to Social Security and say, I think I get an added
And
benefit.
how do you do that?
That's when you contact your local Social Security office. Say, I'd like
Okay.
to have a phone call with somebody.
Now that website you gave me, that doesn't get it done?
That won't probably get
You
it
got
done.
to call the
You
local
wanna meet
Social
with somebody.
Security office, okay.
But if people have questions about that, they need to give me a call. Now, you have to have legally adopted them. If the child is just, living with a grandparent, it's got to be a legal
It's got to be a
adoption.
legal adoption, okay, which makes sense.
They get a benefit. Really, the grandparent gets a benefit.
And the kids get benefits till they're 18, is that right?
So they're 18 or 19, as long as they're in high school. Some kids might be 19,
Okay.
finishing high school. Then it ends.
And it ends when you finish high school.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't go through high school in 3 years.
yeah, take your time.
Take your time going through high school. Okay, we got a few minutes left. What have we missed?
Just the whole idea of optimizing Social Security. You can take it at 62 is the earliest, latest is 70. That's what people kind of hang on. They don't look at, well, let me try. There's about 4,000 ways to take it. There's a lot of permutations.
Right.
A lot of people, what we look at, clients, if they have to have the money, take it when you can get it. But many people don't have to, so they're leaving money on the table. You might decide, if it's a husband and wife, one spouse, let's start one now. That'll give us some money, and let the other grow, because you're just giving yourself a raise.
Interesting family story here. My wife, let's see, she only worked for 4 years. She
Okay.
worked for Indiana Bell. We got married, she got pregnant, we decided she was going to raise the kids. I am shocked at the Social Security benefits she gets having only worked 4 years.
Yes.
I thought there won't be anything there.
Here's why.
Tell me.
You were a higher earner than your wife. Your wife stayed home.
Yeah, right.
Not that your wife wasn't a capable earner. She raised the family. Here's something I think that people would be very interested in. A spouse cannot make less than half of the higher earning spouse. Let me give you an example. Typically, it's women that are the lower Social Security recipient, only because they sacrificed, stayed at home with the kids. So they were not paying into it. If a husband is getting $2,000 a month, and the wife worked 4 years, her benefit might be $200. Well, half of 2,000 is 1,000. Social Security will bring her 200 up to 1,000.
Okay, so we were shocked when we found out.
That's why your wife got a higher.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
has to be brought up, because that would kind of be unfair. Your wife was working.
Well, she sure was. Just ask her.
Yeah, she just wasn't paying into Social Security. So they really try to level the playing field there. And then, of course, if you pass away, when I pass away, if we make more than our spouse gets theirs and are brought up to what ours is.
Okay.
So they basically get ours. Or the other way around, the husband would get what the wife's was.
Do you have any non-Social Security things you want to talk about?
I do a lot with Medicare.
Talk about that.
People are, a lot of people contact me, they're 64, 64 and a half, and they don't know what to do. Medicare education is something I enjoy doing. Do I need a supplement? Do I need an Advantage plan?
Yeah.
How does this get paid for? Are $0 Advantage plans better than paying something for a supplement? We don't know. We're not taught these things.
No, we are not.
So you and I have educator in our background. That is really what I like to do. I look myself as a financial educator. So Medicare, long-term care, retirement income, these are my specialties.
Well, back to what were you just talking about before that? Oh, darn it.
Getting brought up to?
No, Medicare. Medicare.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about Medicare.
Well, Medicare is we are eligible for Medicare at age 65, younger if we are on Social Security disability. It's our health care. Right now I have employer health care, and I'll probably have it when I turn 65. I can decide, do I want to keep the employer? Do I want to go on my Medicare at age 65? If somebody has no choice, you're on Medicare at age 65.
There you go.
And you've got some choices to make. There's Part A, which is kind of your hospital. Part B is your doctor. Part B, there's a cost for, and guess where it comes out of?
Your Social Security.
Your Social Security.
Yeah.
You don't write a check to Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam takes your money.
He just slips it out of there.
Right.
What about, we talked a little bit about when you should go to the Social Security Administration and when you shouldn't. What about all these ads, the Joe Namath and all that stuff? And I know that would kind of compete with you, but talk about that.
Yeah.
Now, they're giving you an 800 number to call the government, right? Is that a good idea?
You're not necessarily calling the government. You're
okay.
calling a private Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage.
You might be calling Humana,
Yeah,
right?
the federal government allows private companies, Humana, United Healthcare,
Yep.
to kind of do some managing. So, if you know everything you need to know, call one of those numbers. If you're unsure, everything seems too good to be true, they're not necessarily looking out for your best interest.
Which leads to this question. They say, check and see if your zip code gets extra benefits. Do they favor zip codes over other zip codes?
That is a really good question. Indiana, I forget how many zip codes we have. We're in Indianapolis. We've got lots of health care. We've got lots of options. If you are somewhere in a very rural community, you can't get every health plan because there are fewer providers.
Right.
So not all health plans are for everybody in the state of Indiana, Ohio. It's your zip code.
So there is something to the zip code.
There is something
thing.
to that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Tim Gerrity, Gerrity Consulting. Thanks for being the guest today.
Thank
give
you.
us that. Give us your cell phone number as well as the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the easiest thing is my phone number, Tim Gerrity, 317-379-2224. If you need to have your Social Security optimized, I would love to do that to you at no cost. You would get 3 reports. You would get Social Security optimization so you could look at it. You would get Medicare means testing, and you would get a report predicting your future medical costs in retirement. 3 really good reports that you can take to your financial advisor and say, here, or you could certainly talk to me about them.
All right. Awesome, Tim. Thanks for being
Danny,
here.
thank you very much.
Next week, our guest will be James Belt of Fabric Care Dry Cleaners. I am a client of his. Fabric Care is a client of mine. They are the best dry cleaner in town. And it will be the 500th edition of the Indy's Trusted Servant Show. See you all next week. Thanks for watching.